The Ritual of the Twice-Born, Part 3, Caverns of Initiation. The Anointed One is given a drink, maybe a drug. In the first cavern, he was tested in a manner no ordinary mortal could endure. After the second cavern, he then becomes an enwrapped one. He was then placed in a womb of rebirth. There, in a tomb of stone, he was left 7 days. This reminded me of the Great Pyramid's Grand Gallery, Queen's Chamber, and the King's Chamber. I remember the small shafts in both Queen and King chambers that aimed towards star and constellations, plus the enigmatic stone in King's chamber that was empty. SOF 216. From here, the Anointed One passed into a small chamber which was the entrance to the caverns of initiation. He now stood before the portal of Rusta and recited the prayer before the portal. O unnameable God, give me a burden of suffering to bear, and place about my shoulders the yoke of tribulation. O God, fill the empty spaces of my spirit with pain. O grant me such fortitude that even under an almost unendurable load of distress, I may be willing to lighten the burden and suffering of another. Even as I stand prepared for the awaiting test, I ask that should I be returned to the light of earth, I be granted a share in the afflictions of others. For I need the strength given by suffering and sorrow, and will welcome them for the benefits they bestow. Then one, who stood in this place, gave the Anointed One water to drink and said this prayer. O unnameable God, hear the prayer of the Anointed One. Strengthen him with such courage and fortitude that he will not fail in his hour of awful trial, but shall pass beyond the place of terror, through the portal of death, and so may shine with the protecting radiance and therefore return unharmed in spirit and body. SOF 217. The Anointed One entered the first cavern of initiation and was tested there in such manner that no ordinary mortal could endure it. After 3 days he came out, saying to one who stood there, O acceptable suffering, what has been decreed is indeed best. SOF 218. After passing through the first 2 caverns of initiation, the candidate became an enwrapped one, and in the last small cavern of the Lord of the Twice-Born released his spirit. The enwrapped one was then placed within the womb of rebirth, and there, within the tomb of stone, he was left 7 days. Here came complete liberation of the spirit. It floated out through the confining stone, and went as it willed. No words of men, however learned, can ever describe this experience. SOF 219. The spirit of the enwrapped one returned to the body at the behest of the Lord of the Twice-Born, and he who had survived became a twice-born one. When led forth into the place of glorification, his face shines with an inner beauty indescribable from that day onward. His conduct and attitudes are changed, and he is at peace with all men and with himself. He needs nothing from earthly life and seeks nothing. He accepts and enjoys whatever life offers, for he has learned the answer to the riddle of life and solved the secret of the ages. I have no idea if the pyramid was the temple referred to here. Only the references made me think of this. What if the underground chamber that was never finished was the second dark chamber, with the purple light? The Queen's chamber, the room of the lamp and bath of cold water, leaving the King's chamber, where the enwrapped one was sealed off for 7 days of isolation, like a dream quest, leaving the Grand Gallery as the place of glorification. One problem is that the chamber under the pyramid was never attached to the other rooms until a tunnel was made by robbers, but it's still an interesting idea. I do not know if the chamber down there below there was ever attached to the rest of the rooms.